from the return of the Shadow, just as the brave Pharaoh did 5,000 years ago.
YouTube, Vintage Yugioh here today, and we just received the pot collection. So definitely not the first video that you're going to see on YouTube of it, but figured I would record it. Thought it was a fun product. Bought a couple of these. I'm going to open one, and we're going to go through the contents, the cards, the little figures today. So if you're interested in that, stick around, and it should be a fun video. So splice right to figurines. Real quick, we've got it somewhat unpacked, and I just wanted to make a quick comment that I am very impressed with the packaging. There was cardboard on both sides to prevent corners getting dinged on this box, and then the bubble wrap wrapping is also very professional looking. So continue on. Okay, so this is what it looks like outside of the box. Got to cut a couple tabs to get this. It's almost like a shoebox, but it's kind of fun. It shows all the stuff. Their set content, 14 pot figures, has choking hazard. Yeah, this is a very interesting packaged product. So cool to see something a little different from Konami, not just cardboard, packs and boxes and such. So, all right. Finally, we're going to get into seeing the figures. Okay, so we're in the box now. I have the figures off here to my side. And up first here is the big pack of all the cards. So we'll, once we go through a card, we'll try to find the figure. They're just kind of individually packaged here. Or actually looks like they come in, some of them come in pieces. So that is very interesting. So yeah, I'm definitely going to cut and probably open all these, so I might have to stop the video. I didn't pull any out before I started recording. I didn't realize they were all kind of like sub-assembled components. But we'll get into this first and look at the quarter-century Pot of Greed, and then I've seen one other video so far of this, and it kind of looks like the rest of the cards are the old school Hobby League kind of printing. So there we have it, beautiful quarter-century Pot of Greed, 25th anniversary right there. Absolutely stunning card, and probably not the card I'm actually looking most forward to seeing. Most people probably wouldn't even guess that. I'm really looking forward to seeing Pot of Duality. I kind of got back in the game right when Drev come out, and that card was just game-changing. Super expensive, and I've always wanted to own it in PSA 10, and just hard card to find in Drev, so hopefully I can grade a 10 copy out of this set. So get all these sleeved up as we go, but yeah, stunning. And then we'll show the other rarity here right next to it. Yeah, and just kind of looks like, yeah, that kind of glossy Hobby League. So that's cool to kind of see that rarity be brought back. And of course, Pot of Greed, you draw 2 cards. Yep, that's the difference in rarity. Very cool to see. And I didn't know until I saw the opening that it come in both rarities. I thought you just got it as the 25th century, and you did not get it in this Hobby League Secret Parallel rarity. Then, of course, back here we have the original LOB first edition. Had to whip that out of storage. Okay, so yep, we'll take a pause here, and I'm going to get some of these figures kind of built up, and so we can, show you Pot of Generosity, and then show you Pot of Generosity in built form. And it's fun here. The only other pot I have graded is Cybernetic Revolution Pot of Generosity. I do have Pot of Avarice, I guess, somewhere too, but did not pull that out. Okay, we are back, and that probably took me 10 or 15 minutes to build all these. It was actually very fun to do. A lot of people might not like having to build these, but $150, people might want them to come assembled already. But I thought it was super cool, and a lot of they at least came with at least 3 pieces: the base, and then the body, and then part of the face, or the top here, or a handle, or something like that. So it was
and no instructions. So it was fun to try to figure out how all these went together, because I'm not familiar with all these different pot cards. So to figure out, if this went on one way or the other or such, it was kind of a little miniature puzzle within everything else. So that was a fun little 15-minute detour. So there is the Pot of Greed with the Pot of Greeds in the background. So very cool, item 1. Item 2, we have Pot of Generosity and the figurine here with it. So this one, the top came off. I'm not going to take all these apart, but I thought it was kind of cool to show a little bit. I might take a few of them apart as we go through, but that one was just 3 pieces: the top, a face, and the base. So, and these things, I think I read it somewhere that they're like 3D printed, or they're obviously just plastic. But these things have some they have some good weight to them. Like if I threw one of these at you and hit you in the head, it would not feel good. They definitely have they have some density to them. So very cool to see there. Up next, we have Pot of Avarice. So this was originally Elemental Energy. I'm not going to know all the original sets, but I do know this one was Elemental Energy, came as a super and an ultimate. And let's see if we can find that figurine here. Look at that. So this one, I think the top, or the front face here, and then the tongue was a separate piece. So they did a very good representation of these, and quite a lot of detail for if they are 3D printed. Quite a lot of detail and patterns and such on them, where I think they did a really good job on the figurines. But yeah, like this one, the top just came off here. So some assembly, but not a whole lot on that one. So that's Pot of Avarice. Pot of Benevolence. Cannot speak English. So that was actually the last figure I put together, and there we have it. So I'd say that looks pretty much exactly like it. So, and this one, some of these parts are a little more flimsy. They had very packaged well, so nothing was broken or anything like that. And I guess as we go through here, I'll kind of move the old ones off and keep the latest and greatest on for a little bit of the video. Yeah, so that was that right there. I'm not sure exactly when that came out, but I think that came out before a lot of these other ones. Pot of Riches, never seen in my life. But that is a very cool looking card, and let's see if I can find it. There's a couple here that look very similar. So this one has the handles on it. So this is probably the biggest one, and this one would leave a knot if you got in the head with this thing. This thing is probably the heaviest figure out of all of them. And once again, very good detail though. I mean, like all the multiple colors on the back and the front, and the little fork and spoon. So very good colors and detail, and feels solid and robust. So I'm happy with the quality. I don't know if everyone else is going to be or not, but they're better than what I thought they would be. So I don't think they cheaped out too much on these. And for $150 for this set, I think that's versus some other stuff like the Platinum Dark Magician that's behind me that you can't even see probably. Like this is much more of a collector item in the price band with it. A lot more people can afford. All right, let's see if I can pronounce this word. Pot of Acquisitiveness. Acquisitiveness. Put that one on loop. Target 3 banished monsters, shuffle all 3 in your deck, then draw 1 card. All right, so that one is this one right here, closest to me. And I'm not saying that word again, so. But, oh, look, so like even the little drop on the tongue, they got to a T. So, yeah, just the detail on these. Don't want to beat it into the ground too much, but I think they did a very good job on detail on these little figures. All right, so get that one in a sleeve, and then I can at least pronounce the next one, we have Pot of Duality. So one of my favorite cards from Beyond the Duel Monsters era. And here we have it. So we have, I think, what is this? Pot of Prosperity on one side, or Generosity. And then we have the Pot of Greed face on the other side. So very cool. And the card stock quality here too is really solid. Like, really got that kind of that OCG old game promo feel to them. So very happy about that. I think these should grade well, depending on how PSA grades this kind of glossy front to them all. But they all look to be very good quality. All right, Pot of Dichotomy. I think that's how you pronounce that. We are here. So this one looks to be kind of a combination of, let's see, Pot of Benevolence and maybe Pot of Avarice. There we go. So, and we have it here with, let's get this way. There we have it. Just a happy's a clam, and then we got Mischievous guy over here. So very nice, and all of them are very similar sized, but I think they're kind of, you know, the ratio for how they look in the picture versus how how they were printed, it seems to be pretty much a kind of a 1-for-1 across the board. Pot of Desire. So this is one of the latest cards. I think, I don't know, this is a Toon Chaos original release, and then it's been printed many times since then. But here we have it. This was actually the first one I built. Go top down. So we have Pot of Greed on one side and Pot of Avarice on the other side with its crazy tongue and crazy colored teeth, and it's got all the different teeth. Let's see if they match up. In the bottom row, we can see green, red, yellow, and they are green, red, yellow. So yeah, the detail, like I said, very, very good in my opinion. That's something they could have left out a little bit, but pretty much a 1-for-1 match of what's on the card is what's on these figures. So very cool, and very small enough where you can display all these in one little row or two little rows and not take up a whole bunch of space. So have to figure out where I'm putting these because I'm running out of space. All right, we have Pot of Extravagance up next, and this might have been also a Toon Chaos first release, but it could have been somewhere else. And there we have, kind of get the profile. So we have Pot of Greed, and then Pot of Riches, I think, is the other one. Not seeing it. Yeah, Pot of Riches. So those are the two faces on Pot of Extravagance. And we have one more figure here. This one used to be very hard to pull out of, I think, Blazing Vortex. And then it's got, obviously, the Rarity Collection reprint. And so made it much more obtainable for the common folk, which is good for the game. And we have Pot of Prosperity, and we have its figure right there with Riches and probably Generosity. And then we have a couple more cards here that did not get full figures, but they kind of got little pieces here. So we can probably put that back here. So up next we have Spirit of the Pot of Greed, and that came with the little spirit guy, which I saw in another video and was testing it myself. It fits perfectly right in the little Pot of Greed. So you kind of combine the two cards and you get the Spirit of the Pot of Greed. So I thought that's kind of cool how they integrated that into being proportionally sized to be able to do that. And then we have two more cards, which we have two more little pieces for. So we have Moray of Greed Shuffle 2 water monsters from your hand into your deck, then draw 3 cards. I don't ever know where this got printed at. If anywhere, I'm assuming it's been printed somewhere. But this is a very creepy card, and even a more of a creepy figure there, with the little jar or a pot of greed as an eel. So that's kind of funny. It doesn't really, like, I wish they kind of maybe put like one little peg on it here and had it on a stand where it could have, you know, stood up a little bit instead of just kind of laying around. It can kind of come out of a different pot or whatever. Don't know what I'll really do with that one. And then the last card here, we have Shard of Greed, and it literally just comes with the shard. And I think this is the exact proportion to that. So like it is exactly a kind of a 1-for-1. So that, once again, you know, something they could have made this bigger or a different scale or whatever, but they kept the scale across the board the same, which is cool to see, kind of from the world I deal with on a daily basis of, you know, engineering and stuff. So probably made this video way too long, but wanted to kind of go in depth. The few videos I've seen, they didn't go over everything too in depth, but was super cool. Like this one has, yeah, like just the face come off. So they all kind of went together a little different way, which kept the assembly process kind of fun the whole way through. There was, you know, 14 figures or whatever. So it was super fun to make them. Cards look great. Pot of Greed looks great. And I hope they do other little things like this with little figures in the future. Don't really know or have any suggestions on what they would do, but I think it'd be a very popular item for collectors and players alike. I mean, people will play with some of these cards for sure. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video and the review of the pot collection. Super fun, like I said. Probably going to sell one. I have 2 more, so probably going to sell one and then keep one sealed beyond the one that I just opened. So if you're interested in that, hit me up on Instagram, and hopefully we can work out a price. I don't really know the price that they're setting at on the secondary market right now, so we'll work something out. Let me know your thoughts, comments on this collection, and as always, thanks for watching.